Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another deep dive where we turn your fears into confidence.
Yeah, and today is a really big one.
It really is. Today's topic is something that I think almost everyone can relate to. We are talking about public speaking fear.
Oh man, just hearing the words makes my palms sweat a little bit.
Right. I mean, think about it. Have you ever stood in front of a classroom or like an office meeting or a stage and suddenly you just forget everything you prepared?
Oh, completely. Just a blank slate.
Exactly. Your heart starts beating super fast, your hands are shaking, and your mind is literally just screaming, please let me disappear.
It's that sudden urge to just sink right through the floorboards.
Yes. But here is the exciting part, and the whole mission of this deep dive today. Great speakers are not born with a microphone in their hands.
No, they really aren't.
They are made through practice, preparation, and confidence. Today, we are unpacking some incredible insights from a guide called The Stage Fright Cure, Mastering the Art of Confidence.
It's such a good source. It really breaks down why we freak out and how to fix it.
Yeah, and I know for a lot of you listening, public speaking feels like stepping out onto a tightrope with everyone just waiting for you to fall.
That is exactly what it feels like.
But we want you to know this deep dive is a safe, completely beginner-friendly space. We are going to build a safety net together.
For sure. And to do that, we have to start by looking under the hood.
Right. Before we can conquer the fear, we have to understand why our bodies and our minds just completely betray us the second all eyes are on us.
Yeah, let's break down those physical symptoms you mentioned earlier. The shaking hands, the fast heartbeat.
The forgetting words you knew perfectly like 5 minutes ago.
Exactly. What's happening is literally a system override in your brain. You are triggering the exact same physiological fight or flight response as our ancient ancestors did.
Wait, like when they were being stalked by a predator?
Yes. To your primitive brain, standing alone, separated from the group in front of dozens of staring eyes, that signals one evolutionary thing: extreme danger.
So my central nervous system literally cannot tell the difference between the marketing department waiting for a quarterly update and a pack of hungry wolves.
Biologically speaking, no, it can't.
That is wild.
When that alarm sounds, your body dumps a massive cocktail of adrenaline into your bloodstream. Your heart rate skyrockets so you can literally run away or fight.
Right, to pump oxygen to your muscles.
Exactly. And because of that, the blood flow is actually diverted away from your prefrontal cortex.
Which is the logical part of the brain, right?
Yes, the logical memory retrieval part. The blood leaves there and goes to your arms and legs. That's why your mind goes blank. Your brain is essentially saying, we don't need to remember the third bullet point on this slide. We need to survive.
Wow. Okay, so that explains the shaking hands too, right?
Yeah.
Because if my body is flooded with adrenaline to run, but I'm just standing still behind a podium.
The energy has nowhere to go.
Right, so it just vibrates.
Precisely. And psychologically, the core of this fear just stems from the dread of making mistakes or being judged.
Because thousands of years ago, being rejected by the group meant you were cast out of the tribe.
Which meant certain death in the wilderness. So that fear of judgment is a survival instinct misfiring in a modern boardroom.
Honestly, it is so comforting to know it's not a personal failing. It's just biology.
Oh, absolutely.
But let me ask you this. The source points out that even highly experienced speakers feel nervous before a speech. So how can you tell the difference between like the natural nervousness that even the pros get and the sheer panic that comes from just lacking preparation?
Well, it's a vital distinction because nerves just mean you care. You feel the adrenaline, but you still have access to your thoughts.
Right.
But sheer panic, that breakdown in delivery happens when your brain realizes it has no safety net. Lack of preparation is what actually causes the collapse.
Oh, okay.
Think of your brain like a computer. When you haven't practiced, you rely entirely on your working memory, your brain's RAM.
And like you said, when the adrenaline hits, the working memory is the first thing to shut down.
Exactly. But if you have practiced thoroughly, the speech is stored on your brain's hard drive, which doesn't get wiped out by the adrenaline spike.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, even knowing that, when that working memory does shut down, we do some incredibly hilarious and embarrassing things up there.
Oh my goodness. The comedy of errors our anxious brains produce.
It was universally relatable.
It really is. Like, let's talk about the absolute classics. Like, practicing a speech perfectly at home, right? You're in your living room, pacing around, sounding like a TED Talk legend.
Oh, yeah. Flawless timing.
And then you get on stage, the lights hit you, and you completely forget the very first sentence.
Your brain just hits delete.
Literally. Or, oh, what about holding the paper?
Yes, you hold a piece of standard printer paper so you don't forget your notes.
Right.
But then the adrenaline hits, your hands start to tremble slightly, and because you're holding a large sheet of paper, the tremor is visually amplified. It shakes like a leaf.
The feedback loop of doom. You look down, you realize everyone sees the paper shaking, which spikes your panic, which dumps more adrenaline, and suddenly you are practically waving a white flag of surrender.
That is so painful, but so true. Or how about the autopilot mistakes? Like saying, good morning, everyone, with supreme confidence.
At an evening networking event.
Yes. You realize it a second later and just want to crawl under the buffet table.
We laugh, but in that moment, it feels agonizing. It happens because conscious thought is overwhelmed, so your mouth just grabs the most generic greeting available.
That is exactly why people just stare intensely at the ceiling tiles, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. They look at the ceiling or they lock eyes with the exit sign because they are terrified of looking at actual humans.
Okay, so since we know the panic forces us into these funny but awful mistakes, we have to actively unlearn them. Let's run through these common errors and how to correct them. First mistake. Speaking way too fast because of nervousness.
This goes right back to the biology. When you panic, your breathing becomes shallow and rapid to oxygenate your muscles for running. Because you are taking fast, shallow breaths from your chest, you literally do not have the lung capacity to sustain long sentences.
Oh, wow. So you are forced to speak in rushed bursts just to catch your breath.
Exactly. So the correction isn't just slow down. It is consciously taking deep, slow breaths. Speak slowly, clearly, and take meaningful pauses.
Which might feel like an eternity to the speaker, but to the audience, a pause sounds like absolute confidence.
It really does.
Okay, mistake number 2. This is one I used to make all the time. Memorizing every single word like a robot.
A very common trap.
I used to write out a script, and it was like driving a car and only memorizing a list of turns. Left, right, straight. If I missed a single turn or forgot the word furthermore, I was completely lost.
That is a great analogy. When you memorize a script, you are trying to recall a rigid sequence of sounds rather than sharing an idea.
So what's the correction?
Understand your topic and speak naturally. You memorize the map, not the turns, the core concepts. If you know the map, you can take a detour and still reach the destination.
I love that. Mistake number 3. Standing completely still like a statue. Just gripping the podium until your knuckles turn white.
Ah, the freeze response. We talked about fight or flight, but freeze is the third F in the stress response.
Right, like a deer in headlights.
Exactly. But standing perfectly rigid traps all that nervous adrenaline in your body. The correction here is to use comfortable hand movements and expressions.
So taking a small step or gesturing literally burns off that excess adrenaline.
Yes, it settles your nervous system down.
Okay, but I have to push back on one of these, specifically the avoiding eye contact mistake.
Okay, so here.
So the correction is always connect with different people in the audience. But wait, if I actively look into the audience and I lock eyes with, like, Susan from accounting and she's yawning or frowning,
Right.
won't seeing that negative reaction make me way more nervous than safely staring at the ceiling?
It is a very logical fear, but it is based on something called the spotlight effect. We overestimate how much people are scrutinizing us. Yeah, if Susan is yawning, your panicked brain assumes, oh no, Susan hates my presentation. In reality, Susan's toddler probably kept her up until 4 in the morning.
Oh, that makes sense.
Staring at the ceiling isolates you. It keeps you trapped in your own head, where the audience is just this scary, faceless mob sitting in judgment.
So by making eye contact, I'm breaking the mob down.
Yes. You shift the dynamic from being judged by a crowd to having a conversation with individuals. You humanize them, which signals to your brain that these are tribe members, not predators.
Wow. Okay, so knowing what not to do naturally leads us to the practical toolkit of what we absolutely must do. How do we build this genuine confidence?
Well, the foundation is preparation, but not just reading the speech silently at your desk. You have to practice it out loud multiple times.
And you don't have to jump straight into presenting to a huge crowd, right?
Not at all. Start with small groups before facing large audiences. Practice in front of a mirror, then present it to your dog, then to a trusted friend.
Build up that tolerance slowly.
Exactly. Another big tool is using simple and clear language.
I feel like sometimes we use complex jargon as a shield because we feel vulnerable on stage.
Oh, absolutely. We throw in big words to prove we belong up there, but it just creates a wall. The most confident speakers use the simplest language.
And that ties into storytelling too, doesn't it?
And
Truly connecting with listeners.
yes, humans are hardwired for narrative. Tell a story, and you bypass their critical filter entirely.
But let me ask you this. It's easy to say, focus on delivering your message. But when you're up there, perfection feels like the only shield against judgment.
I know the feeling well.
Like if I don't say once, they can't criticize me.
Yeah.
How do we let go of the need to be a perfect robot?
You have to realize that audiences don't connect with perfection. It feels fake. They connect with authenticity.
So connection over perfection.
Always. Confidence develops exclusively through practice. If you make a mistake, handle it gracefully. Smile, correct yourself, and keep going. Every speaking experience is just a chance to learn.
I love that. But, having this toolkit is fantastic. But passive listening won't cure the fear. Hearing us talk about riding a bike won't teach you how to balance.
That is very true. Theory requires action.
So it is time to put you, the listener, in the hot seat right now.
Oh, I like where this is going.
We are initiating your practice journey within this deep dive itself. We're going to do an interactive audience confidence exercise.
These are great. Real life stage and interview role plays, or what would you say? Situations.
Exactly. So right now, wherever you are, we're doing a Speak for 30 Seconds challenge.
All right, get ready.
Imagine I just asked you about your favorite hobby in an important interview. Speak out loud right now using natural body language.
Notice what your brain is doing in this exact second.
Did your breathing get a little shallower?
Did your shoulders tense up? Do you suddenly feel like you don't even know your own hobby?
That friction you feel right now, just thinking about answering out loud, is the micro version of stage fright.
It's your brain hesitating because it lacks a script. And what makes these mini practice sessions work is that they teach your nervous system that unscripted thought is safe.
You aren't being attacked by a lion.
Exactly. By leaning into this low-stakes practice combined with a positive mindset, you build immense power and preparation.
Taking these small 30-second steps today prepares you for the ultimate challenge we are about to issue.
I am so ready for this.
But before we do, let's do a super quick, energetic recap of the best tips.
All right, first, slow down your speaking speed and take pauses.
Second, understand your topic instead of memorizing like a robot.
Third, maintain eye contact to connect with individuals.
And fourth, use comfortable, natural body language instead of freezing like a statue.
Perfect.
Which brings us to the challenge. We are formally issuing you a 7-day public speaking confidence challenge.
We want to motivate you to start speaking more often in daily situations.
Day 1 might just be initiating a chat with a barista. Day 3, maybe raising your hand in a team meeting.
Escalate slowly. Because here is the core message we want you to take away today. Your voice has value.
It really does.
And every great speaker you have ever seen started exactly where you are right now, as a beginner.
They shook, they sweated, they forgot their words, but they kept going.
They absolutely did.
And as you start this challenge, we want to leave you with one final kind of provocative thought to ponder. We've talked entirely about calming your fear today.
Right.
But consider this. Physically, the racing heart, the butterflies, the adrenaline of fear, they are the exact same symptoms as excitement.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The only difference is the label your brain puts on it. So next time you step on stage, instead of telling yourself, I'm terrified, what if you simply relabel that exact same feeling in your brain as, I'm excited?
You literally flip the script. You tell your body, I'm not scared, I'm just hyped up and ready to give a great performance.
Exactly. I'm not scared, I'm excited.
That is such a powerful mindset shift.
Well, that is all the time we have for today's deep dive. Thank you so much for joining us, for laughing at our mistakes, and most importantly, for taking that step toward mastering your confidence.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Good luck with the 7-day challenge. Get out there and speak with confidence.
Embrace the excitement and let your voice be heard. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.